and there's no end to amazing grace. Take me in with your arms spread wide. Take me in like an orphan child. Never let go, never leave my side. I am holding on to you. I am holding on to you in the middle of the storm. I am holding on. I am holding on to you. I am holding on to you in the middle of the storm. I am holding on. I am in the middle of the storm. I am holding on. I am in the middle of the storm. I am holding on. I am.
Good morning. And welcome. I am Reverend John Riley, and I have the joy of serving as your senior minister, and I'd like to welcome you to our Sunday celebration service. Welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here wherever you are, in person or online. Know that you're in our hearts and in our prayers, and you are in the right place at the right time right now. Yes?
Yes.
And if you're new to Unity, what we want you to know is that Unity is a global spiritual community, welcoming people from all walks of life. People who are looking for a deeper experience of spirit, a greater sense of health, wholeness, and abundance. People looking for spiritual growth, transformation, and to do life better. We teach positive, practical spiritual principles that you can apply in your life every day to help you live a more joyful and abundant life. We're so blessed this morning to have with us Lisa Whitfield as our platform leader, Margot LeDuc as our soloist, Russell Norman on piano, and Ron E. Beck on drums. And so we'll begin our service with our opening song. I'll invite you all to stand as Margot leads us.
I, the Lord of land and sea, I will let my people be free to join in harmony, their world to mend. I who made the stars so bright, guide my people through the night, and to share my light with them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, where you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. All right. I'm so grateful. Are you guys so grateful? Here we go. so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Woo! Yeah, show some grateful. Let's show some grateful to the band. Good morning, Unity Palo Alto. I am Lisa Whitfield. It is great to be here today. As the Rev said, we are on a journey with people all over the planet here in Unity, but we're going at your pace, okay? We're not driving along in a speeding BMW. We're not going to kick you out of the car while it's speeding down the road without a guide. We might kick you out of the car, but we'll give you a guide. Okay, no, not really. We're not kicking you out of any cars. We have 5 core principles that guide us on our spiritual journey that we're on together. Starting with God is. There is only one power and one presence active in the universe and in our lives, God, the good omnipotence. There is nothing in the universe that's inherently against you. Wow, I think mic drop, right? We're done. I think we're done. That leads right into our second principle, which is I am. God is the substance and intelligence innate in every person and in all creation, which means that omnipotence, that divine energy, we are it. We are also part of it. We're not separate from it. Our third principle is the law of mind action, which means thoughts in mind produce after their kind. By the way that we think about the world, the energy that we give to our thoughts, we can create a reality that may or may not exist. And we just need to be mindful of that, right? This is not about just thinking positively all the time. Sometimes there's turbulence. Sometimes there are storms. We accept that, but we remain open to it. And we're thinking about whether or not, am I making this worse with where I'm putting my thoughts? So we're just thinking about that. A good way to connect with that is our fourth principle, which is meditation and affirmative prayer. Meditation and affirmative prayer can connect us with the creative, constructive power of God to live in, through, and as us. Now, if you're like me, you like to do a little meditation procrastination. Am I right? I'm so busy, I don't have time to stop and meditate. But what do we know about that, people? The moment that you feel, I don't have time to meditate, is probably the exact moment you most need it. Right? I hate it when we're right about that stuff that's good for us, right? Our fifth principle, and the secret sauce of unity, is this ain't just about Sunday, people. It's a daily practice. When we live according to these principles every day, we express more of the divine that we already are. We're just expressing it, and our lives are going to get better. So when we put all these things together, what do you got? Pie. No, not pie. We have a way to live out our vision statement here at Unity, and I'm going to invite you to affirm that with me. Together, centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope, quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For God's love, God's love is in this very room. In this very room. In this very room.
And now sure, we can do that. We can do that. You can do that anytime you want. And now our reading from the Daily Word. Today's Daily Word is prosperity. I'm going to read the affirmation and then invite you to affirm it with me. Practicing gratitude deepens my experience of prosperity. Together. Practicing gratitude deepens my experience of prosperity. My life may be full of blessings, my family and friends, my home, my memories and experiences, but it can be easy to take it for granted if I focus more on what I'm missing rather than what I have. Being thankful, expressing my gratitude for my good, opens my heart, but it also opens my eyes to the many ways I am prosperous. I count my blessings, pausing to give thanks for each one. The more often I do this, the more feelings of gratitude will fill my heart, crowding out constricting feelings of scarcity, fear, or envy. From the serenity I feel in my heart to the peace that calms my mind, I am prosperous. As I greet each day with a prayer of thanks, my blessings abound. This is inspired by Psalms chapter 36, verse 8. They feast on the abundance of your house, and you give them drink from the river of your delights.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Gotta let it all go. And this is what I have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free. I said, yes, I'm free. Oh, I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, that's right.
Well, are you ready? Are you ready to transform your life? Woo! Well, after that, I'm ready. Before, I wasn't so sure. Sometimes, when we come from that space of looking for ways in which to grow, expand, and experience more of that joy, we get a little bit timid, don't we? Sometimes we get excited about the song, and then we go home, and what do? We take a nap. We go back to our patterns. We go back to the old way of being, the old set patterns and old set ways. Well, today we're starting a journey of our fall enrichment program, starting a journey of evolving out of a sense of not enough so that we can have a greater experience of our sense of self. Our sense of self with a capital S, that divine self, that higher self, our sense of self-worth. And as we start to develop that sense of self-worth, we will discover that that sense of not enough drifts away and life changes. We change. And when we change the world. Now that's not too big of an ask, is it? You ready to start? So the interesting thing is, there's a part of us that is looking at ourselves, our situation in life, as a sense of not enough. We can't help it because that's how we were raised. That's the culture that we were born into. That's been the culture for thousands of years, that you're just not enough. You're not it. So don't worry about it. Just sit back and send in your tithe check. And when we're coming from that, trying to fill that sense of not enough, most often we're looking at filling it from the outside in. We're looking for ways in which we can fill ourselves up, whether it's having a great job or getting a great car or having enough money, right? Getting the right relationship, doing the right things, getting someone's approval, just having somebody say, good job, that fills us up for a short period of time. Because it's short and it's transitory, because what we're doing is we're looking outside of us to fill up that sense of not enough that is our ego. And so our ego is always wanting more, always seeking more, always trying to be more or do more, not really knowing that it's not the star of the show. The star of the show is that higher consciousness within us, that self with a capital S, that divine self, that noble self, that Christ self, whatever terms you want to give it, that's that part of you that it already knows that it deserves more, it has more, it is more. And so we are called to grow and transform into that greater sense of self more now than ever before, because everything is changing. Now, I like to say consciousness is changing. I like to say consciousness is evolving, because we believe in unity. We believe that everything begins first in mind. Everything begins first in consciousness. And we grab hold of these ideas that float around, and then we give it shape and form, and we create stuff. Right? We do stuff, and we're really good at creating stuff, aren't we? Especially here in Silicon Valley. We create all kinds of stuff. And we're so involved in creating stuff and moving in that direction that we tend to forget the greater sense of self, the creation that happens in here. And so culture is shifting as a result of the consciousness shifting. Culture is shifting as a result of our creating more stuff, because life gets more complicated. So culture and our individual consciousness has to shift and has to evolve. Otherwise, we can't keep up. Now, there are some small shifts in the world that happen all the time. Small shifts in our lives that we recognize, it didn't quite pan out the way we thought it would. I remember back in the early 90s, I was a software engineer for an enterprise software company. Now, back then, we didn't have this SaaS model internet thing going on that y'all have. I had to carry in a suitcase my little microcomputer, my Sun server that had the database on it. I had my laptop to connect to the Sun server and all the networking equipment, just so I can show them, so I can demonstrate our product. And I was on a sales call once with one of my colleagues, and we were sitting there driving in the car to whatever place we were going, listening to the radio. And of course, we both like good music, so we were listening to it. Well, he turns to me and says, I love modern rock. I love modern music. I'm always going to be on that cutting edge. Always. I'm always going to like, the good stuff. And I said, yeah, me too. And he was right. The only problem is modern rock ended back in the 90s. I still like it. But see, that was a small shift. That was a small shift in my culture, because my kids today don't know what I'm talking about, except it's coming back. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Just let it come back. So there's these small shifts in us that we see changing in our culture. So think about your life experience. How much change have you seen in your life? How much change in the culture, how much change in the behaviors, in our patterns have you seen? John, you're going on what, 108, 10, 12, 203? 103 next month, right? Am I right? 102. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make you older than you were. 102. So really nothing's changed. Yeah, The one thing that does not change is spirit. The one thing that really doesn't change are spiritual principles. We just don't like them because we got meditation procrastination. Because it's effort, because it's work. Now, the truth of it is, we are not going to change our lives and transform the world in 7 weeks. Are you okay with that? I don't want any false advertising here. But what we're going to be able to do is learn some practices that help us move through the change, that help us move through this idea of not enough, and help develop our sense of worthiness, our sense of self, of our noble self, and to begin to live from that sense of self more fully, because that is what is needed in the world today. In order for us to direct or to change our culture in a way that's positive, because we've all seen the news, right? We all have some idea of which way it's going. In order for us to impact and make a difference in the world, we have to first make a difference within ourselves. And so the major shifts that were happening were in our culture began after World War II. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, which some say we're still in, it accelerated those changes. And you can see that sense of not enough everywhere, because people are beginning to look at life differently and sensing that uplifting in consciousness, that new awareness that, well, there's something more than what we've been focused on, than the doing and the having and all of the toys. There's something more, but we haven't quite placed it yet. And this sense of not enough occurs in all industry and all experiences, including, the church experience, including religion. It has been said that since the end of World War II, attendance has declined. And as the pandemic came, attendance declined even faster. One of the authors that I'm reading, I'm losing his name at the moment, Jim Lockhart, he wrote the book, The Emerging Beloved Community, or Creating the Beloved Community. Beautiful book, and a great teacher. He now lives in France, and he relayed the story that in France, 1% of the population goes to church consistently every Sunday. Just 1%. Talk about a sense of not enough. Church is hurting so much that the government's starting to take over churches because they can't keep the doors open on their own. So the culture is shifting, and if the church does not shift with it, or does not lead that shift, it will be transformed into something else. That's the way it works. So our goal here is to really, because I think in Unity we have the tools that we need to help lead people through this transition in culture with ease and grace. Without that, fear, withdrawal, ignoring, blaming, disconnect from the other increases. And that's what we have experienced during the pandemic, yes? During the pandemic, we shut ourselves in. We became more isolated for good reasons. We became more within our silo, and our group began to shrink. And the sense of the others, began to grow. So all of that sense of separation is occurring. All of that sense of not enough is occurring within us at a great rate. And for us to really take hold of that, we need to step into a willingness to look at ourselves, to start within, and then support the planet in changing and making a positive difference in the world. Without it, we begin to have a sense of separation, of isolation, of desperation. Oh my gosh, I sound like a U2 song. Just let it go, fade away. Thank you, Bono. Thanks for watching, Bono. It could happen. Consciousness is shifting. And what happens within us whenever we grow, whenever we learn a new spiritual practice or start a new spiritual practice, whenever we have that aha moment and we start to use it, there's this term that the Fillmores coined, which is called chemicalization. Because there is a reaction within you when you start to practice something new, when you start to hold a new belief. The old beliefs, the old patterns do not like it. Have you noticed? And they do a very good job of fighting back. And that's what chemicalization is. It's our old self, our old patterns, our old way of doing things back in the day that are holding on for dear life. And they often win. Sometimes they give us the illusion, oh, you're doing such a good job, and then something will happen, and we forget all about our practices. That's why they're called practices. Now, Lisa was talking about this idea of affirmative prayer and meditation. And that's something that I've been practicing for a long time in my life. And there was periods where I'm good at it, and I months when I go by when I don't even think about it. So there's cycles in me. There's ups and there's downs. But I know that when I do it consistently, I show up better. I know when I do it consistently, I feel more uplifted, I'm more inspired, I have greater ideas, and I have a greater impact in the world. And when I do it consistently, it becomes a non-negotiated task for me. It's not an option. When I'm doing it consistently, it's like, oh, no, I've got to do this. I make time on my calendar. You know, we make time on our calendar for the funniest things, except for our well-being, except for our spiritual connection, except for, moving in through that. And what it takes is a willingness to move through it. Because we'll all have that meditation procrastination at some point in time. We'll all have that chemicalization, and it means we just have to keep going. Keep moving through it. Keep practicing. And use your power of faith. So often we try something, it's like, okay, I meditated. Nope, nothing happened. I'm still the same. I don't feel any different. Right? We expect something specific to happen. We expect something. And when we expect something, we're holding on to or we are attached to an outcome. And when we can release that outcome, let go of that outcome and just allow it to be, then we're not struggling with it. Then we're not frustrated with it. Oh yeah, prayer and meditation. I was talking about prayer and meditation. But how do you do it? Well, we're going to talk about that today. So the question really comes down to this. Are you ready? Because right now, even now, that chemicalization is burning within you. Even right now, those ideas of, yeah, but, are coming up. Those ideas of, yeah, but you should, are coming up. Right? You don't have to raise your hands. It's in me, therefore I know it's in someone else. The Yabbatites, the Yabbats, what do I call them? The Yabbats and the Shouldhavites. From ancient Egypt, you know about that? It's documented in the Bible. So, well, let's talk about that because we've all heard that story, right? There's a story that we've all heard. It's about this little Israelite baby that was born, and at the time, Pharaoh was going around killing all the sons that were born, all the boys. The girls can stay, the boys got to go. Remember that story? The mother put the baby in the basket and sent it down the river to protect it. She kept it as long as she could. About 3 months, she said, okay, I can't do anything more. So she let it float down the river in the hopes that something would happen. Well, it was spied by the Pharaoh's daughter. And the Pharaoh's daughter sent her maids out there to fetch the basket and to see what was in it. And there's this little baby. And the Pharaoh's daughter named the baby Moses because it came from the water. And she raised the baby. Right? She went out and got a nurse that apparently was the baby's mother. And the baby's mother got to nurse the baby. And the baby grew and realized that here I am living in a palace, living with Pharaoh, living that life. Can you imagine what that's like? Of knowing that you're different, knowing that you're not the same, recognizing that you are a different people, and then learning that you are an Israelite. And then one day going out into the public for the first time as a young adult and seeing the abuse that the Egyptians were inflicting on the Israelites. His mother, her people, were beating up his people. I mean, talk about a little bit of a freak out. That would be a little difficult to understand, wouldn't it? Well, he did freak out. In fact, he killed the man who was beating up the Israelite. And then in a panic, he fled. He fled to Midian. And for years he lived there, and he met a family, and he married, the farmer gave his wife to him, and they married, and he settled down, and he was tending the sheep of his father-in-law. He didn't own anything. He was living off their land. He went from the palace to tending sheep. And so here he is, tending sheep. He's moving a flock, and then all of a sudden, he gets this flash of inspiration. All of a sudden, he has that aha moment. All of a sudden, he sees this burning bush off in the distance, and he's looking at it amazed because the bush was burning, but it wasn't burning up. It was like a fire from within. It was like a glow from within. So he went over, and then he heard the calling, Moses, Moses, here I am. And Moses is like, what? What is going on here? So that call of Spirit, that call of God, that voice that's calling us and speaking to us is urging us forward. So Moses goes over there and he starts to have this dialogue with God. And God has to go through time and time again convincing him of who he is. Moses wasn't buying it. Moses wasn't believing it. Moses wasn't thinking, oh, here I am. I'm the dude. No, Moses is like, what's going on here? And God said, I'm here to free my people. Now, the story goes in the Bible, he's here to free the Israelites. And by the way, Moses, you're going to do it. Because God doesn't do those things except through us, through our hands and feet. We are the hands and feet of Spirit. If we want the world to change as it is today, then we have to change ourselves. And then we have to make a positive difference in the world to help the world move in the right direction, at least a positive direction. God called out to Moses and said, here I am. And in Exodus chapter 3, verse 13 and 14, Moses was still arguing, but okay, I'm going to go to all these people who don't know me, or may know me as, the Pharaoh palace dude, right, who lived apart from them, who wasn't a part of them, who led the cushy life. And I'm going to go talk to these people who have been oppressed for many years, and they're going to believe me? Who do I say sent me? But Moses said to God, if I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your ancestors has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I tell them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. I am who I am. And he further said, thus you shall say to the Israelites, I am has sent me to you. Now just think about this, because this is the ushering in of that I am consciousness. That I am consciousness that Lisa was talking about before, that I am one with the infinite intelligence of life, love, and wisdom. That the infinite intelligence of God lives in, through, and as me, and that's who I truly am. And yet my ego's in charge. So are you ready to take on that mantle? In this story, Moses was not. He went on to say, I'm not the right guy. You should, check out my brother. He's a really good speaker. He gives TED Talks every 2 weeks. Go find somebody who can really connect with these people. I'm not it. And every step of the way, Moses struggled and fought back. But what did he do? He kept walking forward. He kept going forward, even when it was hard, even when there was famine, even when, he had to go up into the mountain, Mount Sinai, to speak with God again, to get the Ten Commandments, the law, to bring it back to the people. And when he came back, they're off doing their thing again, making their idols, going back to their old consciousness, going back to their old way of thinking. And again, he had to admonish them and say, no, this is not the way you go. Now, the reason I love this story is that when you look at it metaphysically, it's a beautiful, beautiful story about us and our consciousness and our struggle and fighting against these divine ideas. So anybody ever have an aha moment? Anybody ever have a moment where you say, oh, this is it, or oh, I'm more than this? Anybody have within you that pull to something greater? That's that burning bush within you. And how often do we say, that's it, and then you go back to doing what you're doing? Yeah, don't call me again. Call the guy next door. He needs it more than I do, let me tell you. I'm all right with that guy. We have all kinds of ways to pushing back against this idea, this call within us to be a greater expression of our true self, as unique, as beautiful, as different as we all are. We're here to be that. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 7 weeks. But this is the start of the journey for us as we move into that practice of living into that moment. You may be like Moses and say, no, I'm good, thanks. And that's okay, that's choice. And your life will be what it is. But if you want to grow, if you want to express more of your divine nature, more of your abundance, more of your sense of beauty, sense of creativity, sense of knowledge and wisdom, if you want to create something greater in the world or simply in your life, then it's time to step forward. Spirit is calling, and consciousness is evolving. And you can make the choice to say, I'm moving in that direction intentionally, or you can make the choice to say, nah, I'm good, and be pulled through it kicking and streaming, because it's happening. So what I'd like to offer as our practice, a discernment practice. Because right now, what I'd like you to do is just think, have a curious mind. Have a curious mind and open your heart. Just start to think about areas in your life where you have a sense of not enough. Now, I know there's some people that don't like to look at the negative. But if you don't, sometimes you're spiritually bypassing. If you're ignoring it, then you're not owning it. You're not bringing that part of you out for healing. And then that part of you begins to drive you and own you. So you better own it before it owns you. So with an open mind, with a curious mind and an open heart, we can lovingly ask the question, where do I have a sense of not enough? Where do I have a sense of lack? And whether it's I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, I don't have a career, there's not enough activity. Either on the outside or the inside, we can look to see what's appearing in our lives. And that will reflect something that's in you, even if it's in the outside. And the practice that I've been using is the 5-step unity prayer practice. Are you ready? Yep. The first step is relaxation. Because in all the stress, right, our bodies are triggered, where minds are triggered, our emotions are flooding, we are just off the rails when we get stressed out. So relaxation is the first step. Just take a breath and relax. The second step is what we call meditation, and that's where we give our brain something to do, because that's what it does, is it thinks. So you give it the instruction to become the observer, to just be curious. You can use mindful breathing, mindfulness meditation. You can use, I like transcendental meditation, where you focus on a sound or an om. You can use an affirmation to bring you in, but something to give your brain something to do so that it can begin to relax and become the observer. And when you do that, the emotions settle and the body settles. Relaxation and meditation. Then comes realization. In that state of meditation, simply ask the question, what is mine to do? Where do I have a sense of lack and not enough? What's my next step? Ask the question and then be in the silence. Be in the silence. Just be present. Now, the answer may come in a flash during your meditation. It may come 3 hours later when you're off doing something. It may come in your dreams later that night. It may come in the things that other people are telling you. All of a sudden, there are 5 people telling you where you need to grow. But the answer always comes if we're open to it. Realization is that part where we're sitting in the silence, sitting in simply the allness of life, the allness of wisdom, the allness of love. We're just in it. We ask the question, we bring that into that prayer field, and then we affirm. The 4th step is affirmation. I am whole. I am spiritually whole. I am spiritually worthy. I'm one with the infinite flow of life, love, and wisdom. All of those things are true. This isn't a Jack Handey affirmation, right? I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Stuart Smalley, thank you, sorry. I don't know where Jack Handey came in. Thank you, Ken. My 80s guy. We're affirming truth. We're affirming the truth of our being, that higher sense of self. We're not letting ego get involved because that's all an illusion. We're not letting ego get involved because that's all a sense of lowercase t, false truths, or belief system, or BS. If you're new to Unity, BS stands for belief system. Mostly. Relaxation, meditation, realization, affirmation, gratitude. Be thankful. Be thankful for the experience. Regardless of what your experience was, just be thankful, because gratitude will develop that sense in you that this was worth it. That this was worth it. So keep an open mind. And if you're involved in our Fall Enrichment Program, and if you'd like to be involved, this is a small group program that meets once a week, starting this week. We still actually have 4 groups that are still open. There are 3 open on Wednesday. One is in Milpitas, one is in the Saratoga end of Los Gatos, and one is on Zoom on Wednesday night. And if you're in your 40s or under, there's a 40s and under group that are meeting on Thursdays here in the Yes Hall at Unity Palo Alto. You can sign up for those out in the courtyard. And if you're in the small groups, or if you're not, if you want to do this on your own, or if you're just curious, I have created for you a spiritual reflections guide for this talk. It has an opening prayer, it has a closing prayer, it has some talk highlights, the practice is written down there, and it has some questions for you to deepen your understanding and your experience. And if you are part of the Full Enrichment Program from New Hampshire, don't worry. If you're on our list, I'll email it to you. It will also be on our website after the service, in about an hour after the service. Give me time to do it, to put it up there. This is just a way for us to deepen our experience of what we're using here and to practice during the week and to decide. And the one question that I want you to come away with is to think about, during that discernment process, what are you willing to work on during the next 7 weeks? What are you willing to work on within yourself where you can, you sense there's a sense of not enough, where you can begin to heal that and bring that out and apply the practices that we're going to be talking about so you can see the change in you throughout this next 7 weeks. So you can see how it changes and how you shift and you change. It's a brave thing to do. And not everybody wants to do it. Why? Because we have a deep sense of that procrastination. Because it's work. Because it's leading the Israelites out of Egypt was a lot of work. But it doesn't have to be if we just take it lightly, take it gently, and just take one step at a time. Let's move to our affirmation, Felix. I'm going to read our affirmation and then invite you to affirm it with me. With a curious mind and an open heart, with a curious mind, I open my heart to the guidance of Spirit. Would you affirm that with me together? With a curious mind, I open my heart to the guidance of Spirit. And so it is. We are called into a greater expression of self, a consciousness of self. We are called into this together. Through 3,700 years ago, Moses ushered in the great I am consciousness. In the story of the Bible, 1,700 years later, the master teacher embodied it and showed us the way. 2,000 years later, here we are. It's time for us to usher in the we are consciousness. We are not separate. We are one with infinite intelligence and one with each other. We're one with divine love, that infinite flow of energy of Spirit. And we're kind and compassionate with one another. We are one with the allness of life. And with that and in that allness, we can make a positive difference in the world. So I invite you to take a nice, deep cleansing breath and to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze as we begin to relax, to breathe into this present moment, to notice where there may still be any stress or strain in our thoughts, our minds, in our hearts, our emotions, in our bodies, and just let it go. Let it fade away. We follow our breath, feeling the breath flow in, feeling the breath flow out like a great gentle wave lapping on the beach. With a curious mind, I open my heart to the guidance of Spirit. What is mine to do this week? Where do I have a sense of not enough? and show me the path in the stillness of the silence. I am one with the infinite flow of life, love, and wisdom. Divine love is doing its perfect work in, through, and as me. And I shine that light, that love into the world. I shine that light and that love onto our prayer chest. And if you're holding someone in prayer, I invite you to bring their name to mind or say their name out loud now. For all of the names in our hearts and all of the prayers in our prayer chest, we affirm divine love is doing its perfect work here and now for each person, helping them discover their spiritual magnificence, helping them make a positive, life-affirming decision. We extend this same love and energy to our planet, blessing all of humanity, blessing our planet, healing our planet, from the center of its core to the outer edges of its atmosphere. And we send this light and love throughout the universe as we bless all of creation. And for that energy, for that love, for that light, we are joyfully grateful. We are richly, richly blessed. And we celebrate by singing the Alleluia. And with a nice, deep, cleansing breath, we return our attention to this time and space and allow ourselves to be present to one another and allow that love to flow through you today. Unity Palo Alto is here to help you discover that spiritual magnificence within you and to help you live from that magnificence every day. Our evolutionary purpose statement is that we are here to transform lives and inspire people to make a positive difference in the world. And we are here solely because of your generous donations. Unlike other organizations, we don't receive money from outside. We receive money from the love offerings of our spiritual community. And it's through your love offerings that we're able to provide these wonderful programs and in the future enhance them, create even better programs as we move forward. If you'd like to give, there's many ways in which you can support us. If you're here in the sanctuary, there's a silver box in the back that says love offering. You can place your love offering in there. And if you're online, you can go to our website and click the blue button, the blue give button, and you can give an online donation there, and you can set up a monthly recurring donation on your own through our website or by using the QR code. There's so many ways in which you can support Unity Palo Alto, but however you decide to give, give with love. For it's the manner in which we give to life that we receive from life. The affirmation that we say is on the screen, and I invite you to affirm it with me together. Divine love from me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
So it is. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live
in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Show them some love, people. Show them some love. People, this is the real deal up here. Did you know that? These are the real musicians of the world, and we are lucky to have them here. They're amazing. Every Sunday, I'm amazed. Yes, yes. Well, as you know, we are so blessed to come together as a community. We got the music, we got the message, we got the study groups, we got the coffee outside right now. I mean, I don't know what else you want, right? You know what we're going to do? You might want to hold on to a friend's hand right now. Because starting today, we're going to have a couple of little changes. Enhancements. Yes, John says we should call them enhancements. We're going to have an enhancement, a couple of enhancements. Starting with, remember how we used to do that Sunday blessing toward the end? Guess what? We're moving it up, people. We're doing it right now. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to stand if you are able. What? No, birthday's after. Well, yeah, we're doing both. We're doing both. Well, okay, so we'll do birthdays in a second. First, please stand if you are able to do so. Go ahead. This is your cue. Turn to the center and look at your Unity buddies. Tune to the center aisle. Okay, now get those hands warmed up. Okay, now I don't see it on the screen, so I'm going to say it, and then we'll say it together. It's we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the light in you. That old thing. Remember that? It's an oldie but a goodie, people. Ready? No, we're not changing this. Ready? Together? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the light in you. Okay, now, if it's your birthday in the month of October, please stay standing. The rest of y'all can sit down. You'll get your turn later. Okay? Look at those beautiful October babies. And now, we're going to sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! See, that wasn't so scary, right? All right, okay. So, as you know, just like our daily practice is not just for Sunday, Unity service is not just for Sunday, right? There's things going on all the time at Unity. So I'm just going to tell you about a couple. Starting with today, right after service, our very own Eric Armstrong is in the house, is starting another session of energy, flow, yoga, and meditation. That'll be with Eric from 12 to 1. It's not 12 to 2. I think we had 12 to 2 up there before. It's just 12 to 1. It's going to be every Sunday except the fourth Sunday because that's when we do our Bring Your Own Lunch Brunch. So it'll be today. And I think, Eric, it's going to be outside today, right? Yes, outside.
We're under the, across the aqueduct, under the trees, so we'll just home
All right. So join Eric for Energy Flow Yoga and Meditation today if you'd like, or any Sunday except the 4th. On next Saturday, no, not next Saturday, in 2 Saturdays, Casey Wicker is going to be hosting our Pet Blessing. This is an annual thing that Casey organizes. So if you have a furry, scaly, slimy, I guess, friend that maybe not slimy, maybe leave the slimy at home. No, come on, even the slimy are welcome. We're going to have a pet blessing. It's going to be from 2 to 3 in the afternoon. Come. Please bring, if you're coming, please bring a new stuffed animal because we're going to be donating those to an organization on behalf of Unity. And then, of course, we have pick-up parties are still happening. There's still lots of pick-up parties to choose from, including this coming Saturday. Chef Paul, he's in the house right now. Wave an arm, Chef Paul. Is going to be cooking up soups and stews. So get on that list for this Saturday, October 7th. On the 15th at 2 p.m. in Santa Cruz. Road trip, anybody? Road trip? If you know Polo and Catherine, Catherine's right over here, and Polo is our amazing sound engineer for Unity. Catherine is opening her home to us in Santa Cruz. There will be wine, appetizers, and you get to make your own pizza. There's a video. Show them the video.
Bullet Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
That means. Woo! All right. Well, if that ain't a teaser, I don't know what is. Okay, so that's just a little taste of what's waiting for you October 15th in Santa Cruz at 2 p.m. So you're not going to want to miss that. Go to the Unity Palo Alto website to sign up. Tickets are still available. We are arranging carpools. I'm not sure how the carpool arranging is going to happen, but sign up and you'll probably get an email or something, I'm guessing. For more information about pick-up parties or to register, there's not going to be a table in the courtyard, my understanding, so please go to the website to find out about those opportunities. No, there is? There is. Okay, Linda's here. Never mind. Linda and Teddy will be out in the courtyard. That's Teddy right there. He's ready to take your pick-up party registrations. Paul's going to be there too. Okay, and you can pay with a check or cash, right? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay. So for more on all of these opportunities, please go to our website at unitypaloalto.org and find out about all the things that are happening. You can check us out on our social media channels because we're hip and cool that way. Although I don't think that little bird is the little bird anymore. Shh. Okay, we're pretending like we don't know what that Twitter thing is. All right, so before we go into our peace song, another little enhancement that I want to let you know about. Some of you might remember back in the day, remember how we used to do that thing where we would sing the peace song and the reverend and the platform assistants would walk down the aisle? And then we would be in the back and you could come and like shake our hands and we'd give you an autograph and stuff. Remember that? We're going to do that again. Okay, so I know. So before we do that, I would like to, our last little serious note before we get to that fun part, okay? If you are in need of prayer today, I would really like to acknowledge our prayer chaplains that are here for our service today. So please, if you're here for to serve as a prayer chaplain, if you could stand, okay? So if you need someone to hold sacred space with you, want someone to pray with you, just lovingly hold you and affirm you, please find our prayer chaplains in the sanctuary after the service. And now, please stand as we sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now, our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Love and blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Amen.